I'm really excited to get deep into what is a super boss. So Robert, when did you first bring about this idea of the super boss?
I'm actually not the originator of the idea, although I'd love to claim credit. It came from Sid Finkelstein, a professor at Dartmouth College, Tuck Business School, one of the best business schools in the world. He discovered that the people who are at the top of a variety of different industries, fashion, food, automobiles, were super bosses who created other bosses.
I can actually attest to that. There was one of my very early mentors. A lot of the people that he had in his team went on to run their own very successful businesses.
A super boss doesn't have to be someone who runs a Nike or Apple. It can be a very small business. What was your example about?
I'm going to claim it for myself. I'm actually going to not be humble for a minute and say that one of my most proud things from my first business, the gym business, is that I had 8 staff that went on to run their own gyms. So they were with me for years. I taught them everything. I coached them, and they all went on to run their own very successful fitness businesses.
This says so much about who you are. I want to give you a big example in a few moments, but the example that I love is I was having some car problems a year or so ago. I went to this local car place called Auto Tech, and there was a guy who owned it. He was Guatemalan, and his name was Manuel. And I noticed the people that work for him all seem very intelligent and very dedicated and responsible. And we went for a test drive in my car, and I said, "Hey, what is it that gets you up in the morning? Do you really want to just be coming in here every day and watching people fix other people's cars? What's the larger purpose?" He says, "Robert, to tell you the truth, my greater purpose, or the thing that gives me satisfaction, is that since I started this business, it was 20 years ago, I've had over 20 people who came to me who knew nothing about being an auto mechanic or an auto technician, who now have their own very successful businesses." When he said that to me, my respect for him soared to the clouds, and he was so proud of it. It was so fulfilling. So this resonates with your example, but if I may, let me give you a couple of other big examples. One of the people that Sid Finkelstein happened to meet was a guy named Bill Walsh. And you may not know of him, or you may know of him.
You wrote about him in your first book.
Yeah, he was the coach of the San Francisco 49ers. And I found out that Bill Walsh not only won 2 or 3 Super Bowls, but 10 of his assistant coaches went on to become head coaches of other football teams. And all 10 of them also won Super Bowls. And then beyond that, the people that were their assistant coaches became head coaches and won more Super Bowls. And it all started with this one guy called Bill Walsh.